Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Soul's Journey. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this is not your first time, welcome back. And if you would please like and subscribe, you can hit the little SJ button down in the corner there to subscribe, along with the big YouTube subscribe button. So today I wanted to do a little VR to LadyKnight of Avalon, and she started a hashtag called Shopping for Tarot to celebrate our decks and to enjoy them, and feel free to just enjoy the decks that we get and not feel guilty about buying them. So she had a list of 10 questions I'm going to go through and hopefully keep this not too long. First question is, what was the last deck you bought and why that one? So the last deck I bought, and pardon the hair, it is au naturel today. This is what happens when I don't straighten it and just let it air dry. So I got this deck, let's see if you can see it, the Arcana Tarot playing cards. And these are put out by a company called Dead on Paper, and it's a husband and wife team out of, I think, Ohio. And they have, in addition to this deck, they have other playing card decks that you can get with some really fun patterns on them. There's one that's like Ouija boards on the back and really cute stuff. So if you go to deadonpaper.com, you can see them. And I guess this deck has been out for a few years anyway. And I just stumbled across it on Amazon one day with my new interest in cartomancy and collecting just regular playing card decks. And so this thing somehow popped up in the, because you liked or because you looked at sort of thing. And it's the deck that I first saw online was just the playing card deck and did not include any of the tarot majors. And it was going for like $45 or something like that. And I started reading down through the reviews, and somebody, or in one of the, the questions that you can ask and wait for people to answer, somebody mentioned that if you want the full tarot deck, you have to go through their website, and he gave it. And so I did. I popped on over to their website and found it. And I did find a couple of reviews online, a couple of walkthroughs from, I don't know, a year or two ago, but not much. There's not much out there. So I guess, the playing card decks just aren't as popular as regular tarot. But I guess they used to have a light version in addition to this dark version. You can see that. So that's like the backs. This is just, I don't know, an extra card or something. So I haven't done a full walkthrough of this yet. I tried to, and the video came out so terrible I just deleted it, and I'm going to redo it. But so I ordered this from their site, and it was $35. But it's really fine. Like it's mostly just regular playing card style, like this. This thing will adjust. So it that's what the minors are. They're just, pip. But the quartz are done in this very fine line art style, like old illustrations from like the late 1800s or something that you would see. And then the major arcana that comes with it is done in the same thing. It also comes with a couple of jokers. And for the most part, it follows the Rider-Waite-Smith system. Like I said, I'll do a proper walkthrough of this later, because the light in here right now is just not the best. So that's the latest deck that I got, and I'm kind of having fun doing these like playing card decks. There's another one I've got my eye on, but it keeps becoming available and unavailable, so I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but it's an Alice in Wonderland. Excuse me. So anyway, moving along here. Pardon me. So second question, what's your decision process when you buy a deck? So basically, I just have to like the art. That, if I don't like the art, I'm just not going to bother with it. I don't care who's raving about it or how popular it is. If it just isn't my style, I'm just not going to get it. But when I do like a deck, if I think I like the art, I have to specifically like the High Priestess, and I have to like the Star card, and then the Moon. And beyond that, I'll pretty much take a chance on a deck. But those are the ones I really have to. And then, despite my recent purchase of the last Unicorn Tarot for a pretty penny, basically I try to keep it below a certain threshold. Like I mostly try to stay below $50 for a deck, and so my collecting has really slowed lately because there's just not much out there that I like that's below that price range. 3, what are deal breakers in a deck that keep you from buying it? Poor art. If it's really bad art and it looks like somebody's 5-year-old drew it, I'm just not interested. I just, for the kind of money these decks go for, it had better be good art. And also, if I don't like the creator. There was one deck that got mildly popular for a while, and I was kind of looking at it. The art was really good. It was non-traditional. So I kind of checked out. I went to the creator's YouTube channel and I watched, I think it was the very first video, and they said a few things that kind of resonated. He was like, yeah, I just want to celebrate tarot and find my tarot tribe and really enjoy this and connect with people and blah, blah, blah. And, that all sounded good. And then he got to the point, he said something about the dark aspects of his deck, how much darkness there was in it. And he actually came out and said, if you're not working with the dark side, or if you're not working with your darkness, you don't have a spiritual practice. And that was it for me. I was done. It's like, you don't get to tell anybody whether or not they have a spiritual practice. So that kind of stuff is a real turnoff for me. Also, really bad cardstock. If people are like trashing the cardstock and saying how terrible it is, I won't bother, because it's just too much money to lay out for something if it's like paper thin and you're not even going to be able to shuffle it, Okay, question 4. Little white book or big guidebook? Well, that would depend on the deck. In general, I don't have a whole lot of use for the little white books that come with the decks anymore. But at the same time, there are a lot of decks that really don't require a bigger expanded book with them. They're just, if it's a basic Rider-Waite clone, you probably don't need it. And plus, I have so many tarot books now that unless the deck really diverges from the Rider-Waite Smith imagery, I really don't need it. Question 5. Do you have new deck rituals? How do you break in a new deck? I really don't have any set rituals that I do with it. I just kind of, pull it out and go through it a few times and spend some time shuffling it and do a few quick little reads or quick, 3-card layouts to kind of get a feel for it. Yeah, and actually, some of the best readings that I've had have been with a brand new deck, fresh out of the box, and just shuffle and go for it right then and there. And it just, I don't know if it's the newness of it that makes me kind of see it with new eyes, pick up on things that I would have kind of missed if I was looking at a very familiar deck. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. 6, have you ever been disappointed after getting a deck because it felt different than expected? Oh yes, loads of times. And that's a large part of the reason I have as many decks as I do. Flip side, Have you ever been pleasantly surprised by a deck after getting it? Not so much recently because, with TarotTube now, and you can go through and look at everybody's walkthroughs and stuff. I pretty much have, we all have a pretty good idea of what to expect when we get a deck now. So there are, I guess the Lightseers Tarot was a real wow deck, even after backing the Kickstarter and seeing some of the artwork along the way. When I finally got the deck and held it and worked with it, it was a real, and the Muse Tarot, because I got both. So yeah, there have been decks that were even better than expected when I got them. Excuse me for just a second. I'll take a little sip of tea. Okay. Question 7. Do you interview new decks? I have in the past a couple of times, but in general, no. Usually I just pull it out and start reading. Question 8. Do you ever buy decks for a specific purpose, only using it for that one? Not really, except for maybe like Halloween decks that I tend to pull out more during Halloween, but I don't even restrict those to just like October, September, October. If I feel like pulling it out in July or March or something, I will. I just use them when I feel like it. Question 9. Do you differentiate between decks you buy for yourself and decks you would use for other people? Only in that there are some decks I have that I would not use for other people because I think the imagery would be off-putting to someone who's not familiar with the tarot and doesn't know too much about it. Like, let me think. I know, like the Fallen Angel Oracle, or if somebody is very anti, or not anti, but like somebody who's had a bad experience with like, say, a Christian church, I would never pull out like an angel deck to use for them. I actually made that mistake once, and they were pretty unhappy about it. They said, well, I don't really like angels. She had a terrible experience with her church, and I won't go into details, but yeah, so I learned from that not to, if I know somebody has had a bad experience with the church, I won't pull out anything even remotely angel connected. And question 10. What is one thing you wish deck creators would do more of, or stop doing? I don't know if I can even address this to the deck creators, because I think it's more to do with the publishers, but the heavy glossy laminate that's on the cards, like on the Star Tarot, like the Schiffer decks have, I really wish they would quit doing that. I hate that. As far as the artwork, at the risk of telling an artist how to art, I have to say that I am put off if a deck has overly sexualized images of women, and, where they're in these skimpy outfits with, one leg sticking out seductively and, the boobs hanging out, and all the males in the deck are dressed completely, fully clothed. It just seems like they're trying to appeal to adolescent boys who aren't typically tarot readers anyway. So I don't know what the point of that is, and it just annoys me. And I see this, it's not even confined to tarot, because if you watch any TV show, like anything with anybody in the military that's in it, you're going to see the men fully dressed in their uniforms, in whatever battle gear they have to, but the women in the unit are going to be in these skimpy little tank tops to make sure their boobs are showing as much as possible. And that just drives me crazy. So, yeah, it's just, they know sex sells, and so they play it up. And it irritates me. You know, women are more than a collection of body parts for men to ogle. So it just, yeah, that's one thing I wish they would not do. You know, if they're going to sexualize the women, then they need to treat the males in the deck the same way. So anyway, that's my thing. And if you want to join in, I will put all the questions down below and link back to the original video, and go and check out. I know Dee at Art and Tarot by Dee just did a response to this as well, so go and check out hers. And so that's it for now, and I'll try to get a walkthrough done of my little Arcana deck that I just got. And hopefully the second time will turn out better. So if you stuck with me, thanks so much for watching, and please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Blessed be.